Thank you, Dr. Raghavan. Our next speaker, Professor Amit Sheth, is a pioneering academic voice in semantic AI and social informatics. Professor Amit Sheth is an internationally renowned computer scientist and AI researcher, serving as the NCR Chair and founding director of the Artificial Intelligence Institute at the University of South Carolina. His research focuses on knowledge graphs, machine learning, and human-centered AI applications. Over his distinguished career, Professor Sheth has authored more than 450 publications and is one of the most cited researchers in computer science. A serial entrepreneur, he has founded multiple technology startups, bringing academic innovation and industrial impact. His contributions have been foundational in shaping modern AI systems. Professor Sheth will be speaking on Beyond LLMs, the future of enterprise AI is C3AN. Professor Amit Sheth, may I invite you to deliver your talk, please.
Thank you very much for this opportunity, this honor. Thanks, Abhay, for inviting me. As I start this presentation, I'm reminded of my day here in India on 27 December 2023. I had an opportunity to spend a good bit of time with Prime Minister Modi ji, and then he asked me to give a keynote at the third Chief Secretary's Conference. So our nation's top administrators, bureaucrats were all there. And in fact, Secretary Krishnan was the one who chaired the keynote session where I gave a talk. What you'll see today is a very abbreviated version with the same intent, but change, with regards to the progress that we have made so far. So the intent of my conversations that day was how should India make its own space, rather than follow the model that, let's say, West or China is following. Is there something that India can be world-class and top? Is there something that India should focus on for better value and wealth creation? And that's what you'll see in a very short presentation that I have today. So it's all about how do we move? Okay. All right. So today the focus is on LLM, right? Almost, at least for most general, purposes, for most common people, it's all about LLM. And Sridhar mentioned, some figure about how much is spent. It is expected that $3 trillion will be spent by 2029, and vast majority of them is behind this large language model technology. However, I am going to quote this very important and very interesting observation by Gartner. Says that by 2027, more than 50% of the generative AI model, are ones that will be centered on solving specific tasks. They will be focused on enterprises and solving enterprise problem. It so happened that nearly 2 years ago, I had the same viewpoint. More and more, I think people recognize that LLMs are useful for something. They are good at something like content and creativity, but they are terrible at solving very specific mission critical high value problems. I'll give you example of that. So the alternative to LLMs that are more situated to meeting mission critical needs, and they are the ones that would solve the real world applications in applications like energy and power, in infrastructure, in manufacturing. That's where much of the productivity is to be gained. Okay, so I will also give one quote. This is very, very important quote for all of us to understand. In an enterprise, for most use cases, if you are brilliant 95% of the time and ridiculous 5% of the time, you are dead in water. And then there is an MIT study that says 95% of the enterprise investment fail to deliver. This is because we are using the current technology, the LLM technology. Getting everything out there online you don't know the quality of the data, you don't know the copyright, you don't know, how much of it is contaminated, computer created. Next year, 90% of all the image content on the web will be computer generated. So there is no new data to really train the models on. And in fact, when we hear about the small model today, many of them are technical solution to creating those small models. In the sense that if whether you use quantization or variety of other techniques, you are essentially, compressing, what is there in the large model. Now, it is good that many of them perform very well, but it doesn't fundamentally change the character of what those models can achieve. I'm going to show what we can do and we should do and what we do to solve that problem. I listed a whole bunch of challenges that large language models have, and these are all things for real. It is agreed by the whole community that hallucination is a feature of the way you are taking the data and creating a vast parameter space, and then you have to answer based on what is available in parameter space. So there's no clear solution to that. So there are other alternatives that are needed. I'm going to talk about that. There are plenty of studies out there that shows the quality of results are simply not acceptable for many applications. So here are broad observations. There are few applications that AI will completely solve, and there are. But there are many more that AI can help humans solve. The second is that the LLM technology is quickly becoming commoditized. The scaling is not improving the results. The real value will be in creating the frontier models to solve specific problem. In India, an example is C3AN AI. It is founded by my former PhD student, Pratik Desai. And there are many such models which are purposefully built to solve the specific problem. That's the class of things that I'm talking about. Furthermore, model is only a part of the solution. You really have to build what we call composite AI system, in which you are going to have agents that will use different models. They are not going to be one single models. There will be LLMs. There will be series of small models that will be used in a workflow or in an agentic workflow to solve the problem. So there is a lot of things to do in AI about building these composite kind of systems. So we have developed a framework we call C3AN framework, a foundation to responsible AI, where we talk about custom, compact, composite, agentic system, and that is neurosymbolic system. So one very important thing that I talk about is neurosymbolic. My team has been pioneer in this area. We have 30, 40, 50 papers in this area, and we have built real systems in that, and many real world applications have been built using neurosymbolic AI. So there are three components we talk about for building these mission critical AI systems for enterprises: intelligence, robustness, and trustworthiness. And you can see on the right hand side a whole series of what we call as foundation features that are very necessary for carrying out mission critical applications. And now think about it, although I don't have time to talk about it today, think about how many of these are supported well by LLMs. LLM supports a very simplistic form of reasoning. LLM today are leading teenagers to commit suicide. LLMs are not safe. LLMs don't provide user level explainability, where suppose LLM is used by a clinician, the explanation should be in terms of the way clinician is taught the clinical science, right? So all of these things require a lot of things: alignment with the human value, societal value. For example, if you build an automotive solution, then you have law of automatives. If you build a clinical solution, a doctor has to follow clinical practice guidelines. Then your AI should also follow those clinical practice guidelines. Those guidelines are typically specified in a representation as a representation of knowledge in symbolic form, and hence you combine that with neural network based technologies, which are fantastic at exploiting data with the knowledge that is expressed in symbolic to come up with a powerful solution. And this detailed slide is not something that I'm going to talk too much about, but you can see the use cases that I'm talking about. Smart manufacturing, pharmaceutical drug discovery, financial stock market analysis. Many of these would have regulations. Many of these, so we will have to build the solutions, and I've given, I'll be happy to talk about this later on at length on LLMs, agents, hybrid architecture, and C3AN and how they solve. Okay, and here I'm going to just flash a actual use case, actual system that we have built. It's a bunch of agents, the prediction, forecasting, causality, and question answering, and on real world, factory kind of set work. The small models can be deployed on the edge device to solve the problem, to make sure that the factory process, the manufacturing process doesn't come to the halt, that the replanning happens on the fly, and so on and so forth. So several of the real world applications have been built using this model. And now I'm going to end with this just one slide. I'm here for a very exciting mission. From that fateful day that I met Modi ji and had a great opportunity to meet with all the folks at the Chief Secretary's Conference, I had the opportunity to then refine an initiative, and that we are about to launch this initiative quite likely on the 1st of January, where the focus is on creating world-class talent. So I have graduated 38 PhD students, and another 8 will graduate soon, and they have gone on to do fantastic work. They are world-class scientists, entrepreneurs, and academics. Now what happens today is that people go from, after bachelor's, we have fantastic institutions like IIT, but Arvind Srinivas went from IIT, did Berkeley PhD, was at OpenAI, Google, and such, and then he did Perplexity. I also went from here after bachelor's. The maturity that we get after our bachelor, level of education, there is a fantastic ecosystem elsewhere. We want to build that ecosystem here, and that is a great. So creating the innovators who will build products in India with high IP content is the purpose of this thing. Prime Minister said, yesterday, from prototype to product. So we are going to have world-class researchers, H-index varying from 65 to 124. Many of them are coming back with us, and we'll have high degree of reverse brain drain, and very thriving ecosystem that goes from research, innovation, IP creation, entrepreneurs in residence, to creation of the products, and extensive collaboration with the industry. With that, that was the idea.
Thank you, sir.